British Prime Minister David Cameron is looking forward to his meeting with Prime Minister Narendra Modi when they meet in Australia for the G20 summit. Our correspondent Lavina Tandan gets us this exclusive interview.
In conversation with the Prime Minister of Great Britain and Northern Ireland at 10 Downing Street. Thank you very much, Prime Minister, for inviting me to your Diwali party, and thank you for your time.
Very great pleasure and very happy Diwali.
Thank you very much. Happy Diwali to you as well. First and foremost, there is a huge decisive vote in BME, and especially the Indian community. At the same time, we have the UKIP playing a big role at this point in time. How would you balance the two to get the immigration right?
Well, I think everyone in Britain wants to have a fair immigration policy. We've benefited from people coming to our country and working hard and making a contribution, and we should continue that tradition. But what I find, talking to people, including people who come from India or Indians who come from other parts of the world, they want to see us have a controlled system, not an out-of-control system. So I think that's what we need. But I think today, celebrating Diwali, is a day we celebrate the massive commitment that British Indians have made to our country, whether they've come from Gujarat or parts of India, or whether indeed they've come from Uganda or Kenya or other parts of the world.
Yes, absolutely. Now, you are inviting students as well as businesses to India. Do you think, but the number of students have actually decreased. Also, 700 bogus colleges have been shut down. But I feel have done lots of shows on it, and I find that these highly trusted colleges that have been given status by the government and have shut down, many a times do not return their fees as well. So what are you going to revisit the visa rules at all to make it look as if Britain is welcoming students and businesses?
Well, let's be absolutely clear about the position with regard to students. There's no limit on the number of Indian students that can come and study in Britain. They have to have an English language qualification, and they have to have a place at a British university. If they have those two things, then we will welcome as many students as want to come. And actually, in the last year, the number has increased slightly. Yes, we did close down bogus colleges because they weren't actually providing an education. They were just providing a route of entry to people who wanted to get round the rules. But there's no limit on the number of students who can come, and we want Indians to come here to contribute to our country.
That's a very welcoming thought, really. Now, going to Modi, how do you see India under Modi? What do you think about the policy decisions that he has taken, and which one is the most striking one for you?
Well, I've been impressed by what I saw when he was the economic transformation of Gujarat. I think showed that he is a successful manager, and I think the emphasis he has on growth and the economy and reform, but also on public health issues in India, I think has been a very strong start. So we look forward to working with him. The British-Indian relationship is strong. India is one of the biggest investors into Britain. Britain's one of the biggest investors into India. I want to see us take our relationship to a new level, and I look forward to meeting with Mr. Modi at the G20 in Brisbane, Australia.
And hopefully in the UK soon?
I hope very soon. I think we are, as you might know, we're constructing a statue of Gandhi to go in Parliament Square, which I think will be a hugely symbolic moment for Britain and for India. And I hope that as that happens and other things happen, we can encourage Prime Minister Modi to come to Britain.
Fantastic. That will be good news for us as well. Now, India and Pakistan, in fact, Pakistan has taken Kashmir several times to the UN. Now that the firing is happening across the borders, they have again appealed to the UN. What would be your stance?
Well, we very much believe this is something that should be discussed by India and Pakistan together, that this is not something where Britain can play some sort of adjudicating role. This is an issue for India and Pakistan. We want to see tensions come down. We think it's very important there aren't incursions across the line of control. But what I see is the opportunity, if India and Pakistan could find a way to have a better relationship, the economic opportunity, the political opportunities for both countries would be immense. But obviously this has to be done on the basis of dealing with the issues and combating terrorism and dealing with the problems there have been.
Bilaterally, do you think?
Well, I think, as I say, tensions need to come down, and the best way to do that is, and we have seen this in the recent past, for Indian and Pakistani politicians to meet and talk with each other.
Well, terrorism now is a big issue for the entire world. ISIS. How do you see globally working towards combating that and confronting that?
Well, we obviously have to confront ISIS in Iraq and Syria, and Britain is part of the international coalition backed by many Arab states that's doing that. But I think we have to recognize the problem comes from an Islamist extremist terrorism that has found its place in too many parts of the world. Wherever there is conflict or civil war, we've seen this problem arise in too many places. So we have to combat the narrative. We need to combat the idea that it's okay to commit terrorist acts in the name of religion. It isn't. And it's not the religion of Islam that is doing this. It is, as I say, a perversion of that religion by some extremists, and we have to confront and defeat them wherever they are.
Now, the last one is, of course, not terrorism, but almost being terrorizing people, and Ebola. What would be your stance in working globally towards combating and confronting that again?
Well, we have to deal with this at source, and that means in West Africa. And that is why Britain is probably the second largest donor in the world after America. And we are sending over 700 troops to Sierra Leone. We're building 700 hospital beds. We're setting up community facilities. We'll be training over 800 staff every week in Sierra Leone and spending hundreds of millions of dollars, because we know we need to help that country to deal with the Ebola outbreak. Because if we don't deal with it at source, this terrible, terrible crisis will spread still further. So Britain is taking its responsibilities, and we're very happy to work with other countries who want to come in with us and provide the help that Sierra Leone, Liberia, Guinea and other countries need.
Okay. Thank you. Indo-British relationship, what are the thrust areas for you?
I think the key areas are the fact that we are two very lively, very vibrant democracies. And so we should build on that relationship between two democracies. We've obviously got massive British investment into India, huge Indian investment into Britain. We have a diaspora British-Indian community here that has made a massive contribution to our country. So building on, of course, our history and the past is important, but I think the future is even more exciting. And so those are the real areas: trade, business, commerce, culture, sport, our joint love of cricket. There are so many things that we can build on in our relationship, and I think make it one of the special relationships of the 21st century.
All the best for that. And the last one, you can look into the camera and give a message, Diwali message, and woo your Indian voters.
Well, thank you very much for letting me do that. A very happy Diwali. This is the festival of light, the time when we celebrate the triumph of light over darkness, of good over evil, and a time when we remember those vital values of family and community. And it's family and community and enterprise, of course, where the British Indian community does so much for our country. Thank you, and a very happy Diwali.